Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning, and I'm just looking at some of the feedback that I've had this week. And what I've noticed is that you're not keeping up. That is to say, I'm still getting stuff from previous lessons, and you haven't addressed any of the issues in this week's stuff. Not a breath of criticism in that, by the way. Absolutely not a breath. The stuff that I've had, I'm so pleased with that I'm inclined to disregard this, really. And the other thing I want to say to you is this: that I've built no reading time into this module. Normally when you come on a course in higher education, you get 1 week, you get maybe even 2 weeks where you're allowed to just sit back on your haunches and consider the stuff that you've been doing. Well, there's been none of that. The pace of this has been pretty intense so far, and the stuff that I've had in has been very, very thoughtful. And so what I'm going to propose here is that there's one this week that you should have had a look at so far, which is about triage. Yeah. Triage and the paramedic role. And there's one which should have been coming up next week on the 16th. It should have been coming up today, actually, about advocacy and the paramedic role. Again, I misset the release time of that, and it's been visible for a week now, when I meant for it, really speaking, to come up tomorrow morning. I clicked the wrong flaming button, can you believe that? Well, if you knew me, you could believe it. But anyway, it's up. So what I'm proposing is that I won't put another one up next week, to give you just a chance to reflect on what it is that we've done so far, and to catch up. What about that? I think that's fair. I'm going to put other stuff up this weekend now, and I'm going to put other stuff up with this broadcast. And what I'm going to put up is how to hand your essay in. Yeah, because I want you all to hand your essays in electronically, if it's at all possible. Okay, so we'll get on with today's stuff. I'm still receiving stuff, actually, about honesty and about whistleblowing. I find that very gratifying, actually, that stuff is still coming through on all of this, because what it occurs to me is that these sort of problems actually are relevant to you, and to an extent bother you. And what's more, if I ever require the help of a paramedic, and I'm getting into the ambulance, and I'm being told I shouldn't worry about my condition, it's not as bad as it might at first appear, then I will know to take a pinch of salt with what it is that because there may well be an inclination among the paramedic who's helping me to calm me down and to try and help me stop worrying, in order that the condition doesn't get actually worse. I mean, paramedics aren't on their own in this regard. I've often noticed when I'm speaking to nurses who deal with patients who need bad news given to them. You know, you've got a malignant condition. If you ask such a nurse, have I got cancer? By and large, if you get the answer back, what makes you ask me that question, then you know that the news is pretty bad. So don't worry, it's not as bad as it seems. We're professionals. We'll get you. May well be interpreted as I'm trying to keep you calm because I don't want the situation actually getting worse. Interestingly enough, one or two of the correspondents that I've had have said that they would be franker in some respects with kids, because they recognise the fact that children are going to be meeting numerous adults that they don't know in the next few hours, and it's important that children trust the strangers that they're going to meet. So, for instance, if something's going to hurt, you don't dissemble. You just tell them it's going to hurt, because if you don't, then they won't understand or cooperate with anything in the future. That's an interesting point, isn't it? You would think maybe that children would be the ones that you'd dissemble with. But now a couple of correspondents anyway have brought me to the view that it's a more serious problem, being untruthful with kids. One person said that they don't tell an untruth, but they don't lie, but they skirt around the truth. You know, the expression "skirt around the truth" cropped up, which is you could say, is a bit Weasley, because it is in the end still not arguably being honest. One of the other things that came in again this week was something about whistleblowing. And what I noticed from this correspondent again was, and it's been kind of throughout, really. It's been kind of throughout the notion that you've all in your replies indicated a very large sympathy with the whistleblower. And nobody seems to have taken on the problems of having the whistle blown on you. You know, you all seem to regard yourselves as being on the side of the angels, who will give information to a third party about the underperformance of a service, and you think that is perfectly justifiable. Yeah, nobody seems to want to say, well, I wouldn't like that happening to me, someone going out the service and pointing the finger. So, therefore, maybe there's something wrong with it as a whole. You've all sympathised with the person who's gone to the press. Providing they've gone through the normal channels, obviously, providing that. I've never been the victim of a whistleblower, me personally, but I can imagine that it's a dreadful experience to go through. You know, pilloried not just by the press and the public, but also the sensation that even at work you're not safe. Because some people deserve it. There's no way around that. We all know that. Thank you for the correspondence this week. I'll still be replying to future correspondence during next week. Hope to see some of you on Monday morning. Good turnout so far. Certainly better than the second contact day so far. Look forward to seeing Monday morning in Ormskirk. And watch out for the link which I'm going to put about how to hand your work in through electronic means. See you next week, everybody. Be lucky.